Hello, everyone. This is Yoko. In this channel, I'll be sharing information in English that I've gathered on events unfolding in China, as they might not be reaching other countries. I obtain information from various media sources, and I would appreciate your comments on the content of the videos. As English is not my native language, I use an AI speaker to read the content in English. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and showing your support. Now, let me introduce you to the dynamic world of China. Let's talk about Ping An Insurance, a colossal insurance company in China. Since the beginning of this year, there has been discussion about Country Garden, a major real estate development company in China. This large enterprise is facing challenges in repaying its debts, and there are discussions about defaults on foreign currency-denominated debts. If a situation like this occurred in Japan, there might be bankruptcy filings, corporate restructuring, or debt restructuring. However, in the unique circumstances in China, this company still exists. Amidst this, there are speculations that the transition in the Communist Party's leadership may lead Ping An Insurance to provide financial support for the rescue of Country Garden. Rumors started spreading about Ping An Insurance potentially providing money to assist Country Garden, causing a sharp decline in Ping An Insurance's stock prices. There were concerns that Country Garden's troubles might lead to a chain reaction. Although Ping An Insurance itself doesn't seem to have management issues, there's speculation that the Chinese government might be pressuring them to inject funds into Country Garden to help with its financial difficulties. This is not an isolated case, similar situations have occurred before. For example, there was strategic investment in the Guizhou Group, a major company that invested a large sum of money in Sony, a leading company in the consumer electronics sector. Sony, in turn, faced financial difficulties, and the Guizhou Group's management deteriorated. In the end, Sony didn't receive the funds back, and Guizhou Group's management suffered, unable to secure funds. As a resolution, they received shares of Guizhou Group instead of the money. As a result, Sony faced financial difficulties afterward, and its business declined. Currently, Sony still exists but is in a precarious situation, with its stock prices continuously low. Similar situations are happening in China. Even if Ping An Insurance decides to provide funds to Country Garden, there's little chance that Country Garden's management will improve. This issue is not just about Country Garden, it's a problem for the entire real estate development sector in China. Many such companies exist in China, and if they continue to build real estate, the question arises, who will buy it? In China, people are anticipating a decrease in real estate prices, so there's not much activity in borrowing money to buy real estate. Despite financial easing by Chinese authorities, there's no active movement in borrowing money to buy real estate. People are expecting prices to drop further in a year. In this situation, companies involved in real estate-related businesses will likely face elimination. Even if a company wants to build new real estate, if there's no demand, many of these companies will become unnecessary and exit the market. In the end, only companies with strong financial positions will remain. Until then, it will take a considerable amount of time for them to create the necessary infrastructure that China requires. If they try to rescue real estate developers, they will end up draining more money and putting themselves at risk. The mere mention of providing relief to real estate developers caused a sharp drop in stock prices. This indicates how economic watchers in China currently perceive the situation. It's natural to assume that Country Garden is beyond rescue, and companies associated with Country Garden are also in a precarious situation. In the past, the Chinese Communist Party would pressure other companies to provide relief when a real estate developer faced bankruptcy. However, it seems they are not exerting such pressure this time, perhaps because it would be futile, and if even insurance companies like Ping An Insurance face financial troubles, the impact would be significant. Ping An Insurance, like insurance companies in general, has numerous contracts with businesses and individuals, making its impact extensive. If a company like Suning were to go bankrupt, it wouldn't have such a widespread impact. However, if Ping An Insurance's management is in jeopardy, it would be a disastrous situation. Therefore, when Ping An Insurance says they have no connection with Country Garden, it is likely their genuine stance. The fact that Country Garden has reached this point implies that it will eventually face bankruptcy. The way such situations are handled in China might be different from Japan or the United States. In the case of the Guizhou Group, the company has essentially stopped functioning. Although they continue to promise handing over apartments after receiving money from many people, they cannot fulfill these promises. They have borrowed money from various sources and are unable to repay it, making it equivalent to bankruptcy in practical terms. However, legally, it is not considered bankruptcy. In China, it is effectively bankrupt, but legally, it's not officially declared as such. Therefore, the money that banks have lent to the Guangda Group might still be considered as having some asset value. This legal distinction allows them to buy some time. If the Guangda Group were to officially declare bankruptcy in the future, financial institutions are likely conducting a thorough examination to understand the potential implications on their balance sheets. I believe it's impossible to eliminate the impact on banks entirely. As mentioned earlier, I think they might be considering creating an organization to act as a receiver for non-performing loans. The idea would be to make banks more agile by selling non-performing loans to this organization and then proceed with debt restructuring. However, implementing such a strategy implies, for those who have paid money but not received the promised apartments, a situation akin to a death sentence. Ultimately, for individuals who took loans to buy real estate, if the purchased apartments are not delivered, leaving only the debt, it becomes a definitive problem. People in such situations may find it impossible to continue paying their mortgages. In fact, discussions encouraging such scenarios were already happening last year or so. When this happens, it becomes a significant risk for banks. Therefore, it seems that Chinese authorities are adopting a strategy of not clearly defining how they will handle this problem. In the future, regarding issues in the real estate sector, they might continue to avoid providing a clear direction. They may keep giving hope to people who have bought real estate but haven't received it, while asking them to continue repaying the banks. It's likely they will defer the issue, creating a scenario where people are left in uncertainty. In contrast, having a robust legal framework and clearly declaring bankruptcy when a company is in that state might seem harsh, but it could be a more practical way to handle things without widening the wound. That's my perspective on the matter. And that concludes our discussion for now. Until next time.